When a woman starts ignoring you, it can feel confusing, frustrating, and even a little humiliating. You may feel like you've done something wrong, or maybe you're questioning whether she's losing interest. The truth is, her silence is a signal, not a judgment. How you respond in these moments can make the difference between keeping attraction alive or completely destroying your chances. Most men panic when they're ignored. The instinct is to text more, call more, or over-explain themselves. Some even beg for attention or try to win her back with gifts or grand gestures. But these behaviors almost always backfire. Women are wired to notice confidence, composure, and independence. When a man reacts desperately to silence, it signals neediness, insecurity, and emotional instability, the exact traits that kill attraction. In today's fast-paced dating world, mixed signals are normal. Women may pull back for any number of reasons: stress, testing your composure, or simply wanting space. Reacting the wrong way can push her further away, while the right approach can actually increase intrigue and respect. High-value men understand this instinctively. They don't overreact. They maintain their composure. They focus on themselves while letting the dynamic shift naturally. This video is about the 5 biggest mistakes men make when a woman ignores them. We're going to break down each mistake, why it destroys attraction, and how to avoid it. From over-texting to obsessing, these mistakes are common, subtle, and incredibly damaging if you fall into them. Recognizing them early is the difference between losing respect and maintaining it, between desperation and composed confidence. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to navigate silence with intelligence, patience, and self-respect. You'll learn what behaviors push women away and which actions keep you attractive, confident, and memorable. You'll also see why focusing on yourself, not chasing her attention, is the most powerful response. If you've ever felt panicked or frustrated when a woman pulls back, this video is a must-watch. The mistakes we'll cover are the ones most men make without realizing it, and avoiding them can change the way she sees you completely. Stay tuned, because this isn't about playing games. It's about mastering your own actions, maintaining your value, and staying in control of your attraction. 1. Over-texting and clinging. The first mistake men make when a woman ignores them is over-texting or constantly trying to get her attention. This is the most common trap, and it's also one of the fastest ways to destroy attraction. When a woman pulls back, your instinct might be to flood her inbox with messages, calls, or DMs, hoping to force a response. But here's the reality. Over-texting immediately signals neediness, insecurity, and a lack of emotional control. Women are naturally drawn to men who are confident, independent, and composed. When you bombard her with attention, you communicate the exact opposite. Many men fail to understand that silence isn't always personal. She may be busy, distracted, or simply testing your composure. Every message you send while panicking reduces the mystery and intrigue that initially attracted her. Instead of drawing her closer, over-texting creates pressure and discomfort. High-value men know that absence and patience are far more effective than chasing attention. Giving space allows her to reflect, notice your value, and sometimes even miss your presence. Behaviorally, over-texting usually starts small. Hey, are you busy, or why didn't you reply? Then it escalates. Repeated messages, apologies, or explanations. Each additional text chips away at respect. Women may start ignoring you further because they unconsciously sense your emotional dependence. The pattern is clear. The more you chase, the less attractive you become. Over-texting also signals that your self-worth is tied to her responses, a red flag for most women. Psychologically, over-texting triggers a scarcity mindset. When your behavior revolves around her attention, you appear desperate rather than self-sufficient. Women instinctively notice this because it reflects low emotional intelligence and poor self-control. High-value men, by contrast, maintain internal validation. They don't need constant approval or responses to feel confident or in control. This independence is magnetic because it communicates stability, composure, and self-respect. Here's how to act instead. First, resist the urge to respond immediately or repeatedly. Give her time and space to process her thoughts and feelings. Second, focus on your own life, goals, and priorities. This not only strengthens your confidence, but also reminds her that you're independent and valuable. Third, if you do communicate, make it meaningful and concise. Quality always beats quantity. A short, confident message can spark curiosity without appearing desperate. In short, over-texting and clinging is the fastest way to destroy attraction when a woman ignores you. High-value men understand that emotional composure, patience, and self-respect are far more powerful than chasing attention. By giving space, maintaining independence, and responding strategically, you not only preserve your value, but also increase the chances that she will notice and respect you again. 2. Begging for attention or validation. The second mistake men make when a woman ignores them is begging for attention or validation. This happens when a man tries to convince her to care, to respond, or to notice him, essentially putting his self-worth in her hands. Messages like, "Why are you ignoring me? I thought you liked me," or constantly reminding her of your feelings fall into this trap. While expressing emotions can feel honest, begging for validation immediately signals insecurity and dependency, which kills attraction faster than almost any other behavior. Women are naturally drawn to men who are confident, self-sufficient, and emotionally stable. When a man begs for recognition or tries to manipulate her feelings through guilt or persistence, he flips the power dynamic. Instead of creating intrigue or attraction, he creates pressure and discomfort. Women are wired to notice emotional stability and strength, and desperation undermines both. High-value men never beg for attention. They understand that internal validation is far more powerful than external approval. Behaviorally, begging for attention shows up in repetitive messages, emotional appeals, and constant reassurance seeking. Some men try to guilt her with statements like, "I've been nothing but good to you. Why are you ignoring me?" Or, "I care about you more than anyone else." While these may feel sincere, they broadcast low confidence and emotional dependence. Women instinctively register these cues and often pull away even further. Over time, repeated begging erodes respect, diminishes attraction, and leaves men feeling frustrated and powerless. Psychologically, begging triggers a scarcity mindset. When a man's mood and sense of worth are tied to a woman's attention, it signals low status and desperation. Women are subconsciously wired to respect men who are composed, independent, and emotionally self-sufficient. High-value men maintain their own sense of worth internally. They don't rely on external validation to feel confident. This creates a magnetic presence that draws women in, whereas begging repels them. Here's how to act instead. First, focus on building your internal confidence and self-worth. Your value should never depend on her responses or attention. Second, if you do communicate, make it concise, confident, and meaningful, never emotional pleading. Third, redirect your energy toward your priorities, hobbies, and social life. By maintaining independence and composure, you naturally increase intrigue and respect. Absence can be a powerful tool when used strategically. 3. Over-explaining or justifying yourself. The third mistake men make when a woman ignores them is over-explaining or trying to justify their actions. When a man feels insecure about her silence, he often assumes he needs to clarify every word, every action, and every intention to earn her response. Phrases like, "I didn't mean it like that," or "I was just busy, don't take it personally," are common examples. While over-explaining may feel responsible or honest, it signals defensiveness and a lack of confidence, which immediately reduces attraction. Women are naturally drawn to men who are composed, self-assured, and emotionally stable. Over-explaining communicates uncertainty and dependency, revealing that your sense of worth depends on her perception. In modern dating, women pick up on these subtle cues instantly. Each justification chips away at respect and intrigue, making her less likely to re-engage. High-value men avoid over-explaining entirely. They understand that confidence and selective communication are far more attractive than constant clarification. Behaviorally, over-explaining begins as a simple attempt to clarify a misunderstanding or smooth over a situation, but it often escalates into multiple texts, long voice notes, or repeated apologies. Men think they're clearing the air, but they are actually demonstrating insecurity. This excessive explanation reduces mystery, makes you appear emotionally dependent, and signals a lack of self-control. Women notice and may subconsciously lose respect, seeing you as reactive and needy. Psychologically, over-explaining signals a scarcity mindset. When your actions suggest you need her approval to feel secure, it undermines attraction. Women are wired to respond to strength, independence, and emotional self-sufficiency. High-value men understand that they cannot control how a woman reacts, but they can control their own composure and responses. Emotional restraint communicates confidence, stability, and high status, qualities that naturally attract women. Here's how to act instead. First, pause before sending any explanation. Ask yourself if it genuinely adds value or merely reveals insecurity. Second, if communication is necessary, keep it concise, calm, and purposeful. Avoid over-apologizing or justifying every detail. Third, focus your energy on your own life, goals, and priorities. When you maintain your value independently, you naturally create curiosity and respect, even when she is pulling away. Another key point is acceptance. Sometimes a woman's silence isn't about you. It reflects her own circumstances, emotions, or priorities. Accepting this calmly demonstrates maturity and emotional intelligence. High-value men recognize that attraction cannot be forced or controlled. It is reinforced through composure, self-respect, and strategic behavior. In short, over-explaining or justifying yourself is a critical mistake when a woman ignores you. It diminishes attraction, erodes respect, and signals emotional dependency. High-value men communicate selectively, maintain composure, and prioritize their self-worth over external validation. By resisting the urge to over-explain, you protect your value, preserve attraction, and position yourself as a confident man who cannot be shaken by silence. 4. Chasing or trying to force a response. The fourth mistake men make when a woman ignores them is chasing her or trying to force a response. This usually comes from frustration or insecurity. The more she pulls away, the more a man feels compelled to win her back through constant messages, calls, or attempts to get her attention. While it may feel proactive, chasing is one of the fastest ways to destroy attraction. Women are drawn to men who are confident, independent, and composed, not men who react desperately to attention being withheld. Chasing often starts subtly, sending one extra text, checking in repeatedly, or asking why she hasn't replied. Over time, it escalates into multiple messages, emotional appeals, or attempts to pressure her into responding. Each attempt reduces attraction because it signals that your emotions and self-worth are dependent on her attention. High-value men avoid this trap entirely. They understand that forcing engagement undermines both respect and desire. Behaviorally, chasing is easy to identify. It includes repeated follow-ups, overanalyzing her silence, or even trying to corner her into explaining herself. Some men escalate to manipulation, such as guilt-tripping, passive-aggressive remarks, or excessive dramatics. None of these tactics work in the long term. Women subconsciously notice these behaviors and often pull further away. Repeated chasing transforms attraction into obligation, which kills desire. Psychologically, chasing triggers scarcity and insecurity. When a man reacts desperately to silence, he signals low status and emotional instability. Women are wired to notice independence, confidence, and composure. High-value men maintain their self-respect and do not let another person control their emotions. By stepping back, they create intrigue and allow the woman to reflect on their value naturally. Absence, when applied strategically, often increases attraction rather than diminishing it. Here's how to act instead. First, stop chasing immediately. Don't send repeated texts or try to force a response. Second, focus entirely on your own priorities, goals, and lifestyle. By demonstrating independence, you communicate that your emotional state isn't controlled by her attention. Third, if you do communicate, make it concise, confident, and purposeful. Avoid emotional appeals or attempts to manipulate her response. A calm, deliberate approach maintains respect and increases attraction. Another key point is mindset. Recognize that her ignoring you may have nothing to do with your value. High-value men accept this objectively and do not react emotionally. They maintain their dignity, stay composed, and focus on themselves. Women notice this difference instinctively and often develop more respect and curiosity for a man who remains steady under uncertainty. In short, chasing or trying to force a response is one of the fastest ways to push a woman further away. High-value men focus on composure, self-respect, and independence. By stepping back, avoiding desperation, and letting the dynamic unfold naturally, you preserve your value, maintain attraction, and position yourself as a confident man who cannot be shaken by silence. 5. Overanalyzing and obsessing. The fifth mistake men make when a woman ignores them is overanalyzing or obsessing over her behavior. This happens when a man fixates on why she isn't responding, replaying every text, conversation, or interaction in his mind, trying to decode hidden meanings. While it may feel like strategic thinking, overanalyzing is destructive because it creates stress, insecurity, and reactive behavior, all of which women notice subconsciously. Instead of appearing confident and composed, you come across as anxious, needy, and emotionally unstable. Many men fall into this trap without realizing it. They scroll through messages repeatedly, check her social media obsessively, or ask friends for constant advice. Over time, this mental fixation becomes a pattern that affects behavior, sending unnecessary follow-ups, apologizing excessively, or trying to overcompensate for perceived mistakes. Each reactive step further signals that your self-worth depends on her attention, which reduces attraction. Women naturally notice this dependency and are often repelled by it. Behaviorally, overanalyzing leads to mistakes that push her away. It might be sending multiple texts, crafting long messages to explain yourself, or overthinking her tone and timing. The more you obsess, the more desperate and reactive you appear. Women can sense this emotional volatility, and it undermines respect, curiosity, and attraction. High-value men, on the other hand, maintain composure and focus on their own lives, projecting confidence even in uncertain situations. Psychologically, overanalyzing signals a scarcity mindset. When a man depends on a woman's responses to feel secure, it reduces perceived value and status. Women are wired to respond to emotional independence and stability. High-value men understand that they cannot control how a woman responds, but they can control their own behavior. By maintaining calm and focusing on personal growth, they create a magnetic presence that naturally draws attention, instead of forcing it. Here's how to act instead. First, stop replaying interactions mentally. Accept that you cannot control her responses. Second, redirect your energy toward your priorities, career, hobbies, and friendships. This not only improves your own life, but demonstrates independence, which is highly attractive. Third, communicate purposefully with concise and confident messages only when necessary. Avoid letting overthinking dictate your actions, because reactive behavior diminishes your value. Another important point is mindset. Recognize that attraction cannot be decoded or forced. High-value men accept uncertainty calmly and act strategically. They understand that obsessive behavior reduces attraction and respect, while composure and self-assurance enhance them. Women notice the difference between a man who is reactive and one who is emotionally stable. In short, overanalyzing and obsessing is a critical mistake when a woman ignores you. High-value men maintain emotional stability, focus on themselves, and resist the urge to fixate on her behavior. By doing so, you protect your dignity, preserve attraction, and position yourself as a confident, composed man who cannot be shaken by silence. 6. Reacting emotionally or losing composure. The sixth mistake men make when a woman ignores them is reacting emotionally or losing composure. This happens when frustration, anger, or hurt takes control, leading to impulsive responses, harsh texts, passive-aggressive comments, or confrontational behavior. While it might feel justified in the moment, reacting emotionally signals instability, insecurity, and a lack of control, all of which are major turnoffs. Women are naturally drawn to men who remain calm and composed, even when they're frustrated or confused. Losing your composure not only damages respect, but also decreases attraction. Many men fail to recognize how transparent emotional reactions are. A short, angry message, a resentful emoji, or an exaggerated response communicates far more than words. It communicates neediness, volatility, and low emotional intelligence. Women instinctively notice these cues, and once a man demonstrates that his mood is dependent on her attention, attraction drops significantly. High-value men, however, understand that emotional control is a core component of maintaining respect and desire. Behaviorally, reacting emotionally often starts small, slightly frustrated texts, impatient comments, or teasing that crosses into resentment. Over time, it can escalate into arguments, blaming her for silence or sending multiple emotionally charged messages. Each reaction reinforces the impression that you are reactive rather than composed, desperate rather than confident. Women subconsciously register these behaviors and often pull away because emotional instability doesn't feel safe or attractive. Psychologically, maintaining composure communicates strength, stability, and confidence, qualities that are highly attractive. Emotional reactions, by contrast, signal neediness and scarcity. Women naturally notice who is emotionally reliable and who is not. High-value men focus on controlling their own emotions instead of trying to control hers. This self-regulation creates intrigue, respect, and a lasting impression, while emotional outbursts create distance and reduce attraction. Here's how to act instead. First, pause before responding. Take time to assess your emotions and avoid impulsive replies. Second, focus your energy on your own priorities, hobbies, and social life rather than obsessing over her silence. Third, if communication is necessary, keep it calm, concise, and confident. Emotional restraint demonstrates composure, preserves dignity, and increases attraction more than any reactive or dramatic behavior ever could. Another key point is mindset. Recognize that her ignoring you may not reflect your value. It could be about her priorities, stress, or personal circumstances. High-value men remain grounded, interpreting the situation objectively without overreacting. They maintain composure, stay confident, and let their actions speak louder than any desperate message or display. In short, reacting emotionally or losing composure is a critical mistake when a woman ignores you. High-value men stay calm, focus on themselves, and respond strategically rather than reactively. By maintaining emotional control, you preserve attraction, increase respect, and position yourself as a confident, emotionally intelligent man who cannot be shaken by silence. 7. Trying to win her back through gifts or grand gestures. The seventh mistake men make when a woman ignores them is trying to win her back through gifts, favors, or dramatic gestures. When men feel ignored, the instinct is often to prove their value externally, buying flowers, sending expensive gifts, or creating over-the-top surprises. While this might feel romantic or persuasive, in reality, it signals desperation, insecurity, and emotional dependence. Women notice when attention and validation are being bought rather than earned, and these gestures rarely reignite attraction. In fact, they often push her further away. Many men mistakenly believe that material or symbolic gestures can replace emotional presence or confidence. They think that gifts or grand displays will make her respond positively, apologize, or rekindle interest. The truth is that attraction isn't transactional. Women respond to emotional intelligence, stability, and composure, not to attempts to purchase their attention. Over-the-top gestures can also make you appear reactive, rather than confident and self-sufficient. High-value men avoid this trap because they understand that internal confidence and consistent composure create far more attraction than external displays. Behaviorally, this mistake is easy to spot. It starts with small gestures like texting a gift idea or sending a little treat to get attention. It escalates to larger actions, expensive gifts, long letters, elaborate surprises, or grand proclamations of feelings. While some of these may seem heartfelt, they communicate that your sense of self-worth is tied to her response. Women notice this dependency, which reduces respect and diminishes attraction over time. High-value men never overcompensate. They understand that authentic confidence and presence are more compelling than gifts or dramatic acts. Psychologically, trying to win her back through gifts signals a scarcity mindset. When a man relies on material or performative actions to regain attention, it reflects emotional instability and neediness. Women are subconsciously drawn to men who are independent, composed, and self-reliant. High-value men maintain internal validation, focusing on personal growth, goals, and composure. This naturally makes them more attractive, even when a woman is ignoring them. Here's how to act instead. First, resist Resist the urge to overcompensate with gifts or grand gestures. Your value is demonstrated through confidence, independence, and emotional stability, not material offerings. Second, invest in yourself. Hobbies, career, fitness, and friendships. This not only improves your life, but signals independence, which increases attraction. Third, if you do communicate or make gestures, ensure they are minimal, confident, and purposeful. Avoid desperation. Subtlety and composure always carry more weight than over-the-top efforts. Another key point is mindset. Recognize that attraction cannot be bought or forced. Gifts and grand gestures may feel like leverage, but they do not create lasting respect or emotional connection. High-value men maintain dignity, act from internal motivation, and avoid reactive behavior. Women naturally notice this difference, which strengthens intrigue and respect over time. In short, trying to win her back with gifts or dramatic gestures is a critical mistake when a woman ignores you. High-value men focus on composure, self-respect, and independence. By avoiding desperate displays and maintaining internal strength, you preserve your value, increase attraction, and leave a lasting impression that she cannot easily forget. When a woman ignores you, the way you respond determines whether you maintain attraction or destroy it. Mistakes like over-texting, begging for attention, over-explaining, chasing, over-analyzing, reacting emotionally, or relying on gifts signal neediness and insecurity, which push her away. High-value men stay composed, focus on themselves, and act with confidence and emotional intelligence. By maintaining self-respect, controlling your reactions, and prioritizing your life over her attention, you preserve attraction and intrigue. Silence becomes a tool, not a threat, and women naturally notice and respect men who handle it with calm authority and independence.